On everyone. By now, most if not all of you have seen the Russell Westbrook refusing to join the pre-game huddle. This was last night at the Timberwolves game. The team is huddled up, building morale, getting ready, doing the little speeches, and Russell Westbrook is off by himself doing his own thing. And if you haven't seen it, well, here you go. Here's the moment. But in general, I have been a huge Russ defender. I have talked repeatedly on this channel about what I've seen, the improvements that Russ has made so far in such short little time. Him actually setting screens and fighting over screens and, closing out. Even last night, he had a couple really nice closeouts and stuff. Not perfect, but it's a work in progress, right? The fact that he's even making changes. And for the most part, he has been a model citizen this entire offseason and the first handful of games, right? But last night, this was just completely uncalled for. And it makes you wonder, is this what was wrong with the Lakers yesterday? Right? The first 4 games, Lakers looked great. Even the games that they lost, the games that the role players and the stars actually played, the guys that are actually important, when they were in the games, we were great. But it was this game that nobody seemed to really show up. Everybody just kind of seemed like they didn't want to be there. Everyone just kind of seemed like they were in a little slump. And it makes you wonder, was something happen with Russ? And that's why, because you see this, and then you see in the third quarter, Russ just completely refuses to join the huddle. And then even when he goes over there, he's just kind of hands on his knees type thing, not really buying in. And it's just completely uncalled for. Now, I don't want to blow things too much out of proportion. I don't want to take this as like, oh, that's it, the wheels are falling off type thing. Because again, Russ has shown that he is at least trying to commit and he's trying to make change. And I'm sure it's not going to be perfect. Maybe he was just having a bad day or something. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But if this is something that continues or happens again, I really think the Lakers are going to be in a very desperate, tough spot. Because it's going to almost force the Lakers to have to trade him. And at that point, they lose all the leverage. At that point, teams know, okay, you got to get rid of Russ. We need both of those picks. And at that point, you kind of paint the Lakers into a corner where you have to give up both picks because Lakers are not good enough just to send him home or not play him. And if he can work, if these 3 can work, then I really believe that they could be the best trio in the entire league. Russ is still a monster. He's just a terrible fit for this team. But if they could figure out a way to allow him not to necessarily be a monster, we don't need him to put up 30, 20, and 20 a game, but can he give us, 15, 7 and 7, or, 15, 5 and 5, or, what he did last year, but more effectively and efficiently, and, game in and game out within the scope of the system, then now he's a real threat. LeBron still seems to be LeBron James. Anthony Davis, we've seen some monster games. Even Anthony Davis last night really stuffed the stat sheet, but in general, he didn't seem like he really wanted to be out there. And if Russ is this hindrance, it's a big problem, and you have to get rid of him. As much as I have defended Russ, and as much as I've loved Russ, and I think that he can work, and I do think that Darvin Ham can make it work, this is just completely uncalled for. There's no defending what happened. This wasn't once but twice that he did this in the same game. And again, maybe it's just a bad game. I don't want to take things and just act like the wheels are falling off. Let's see what continues. We still got one more preseason game, and then Tuesday is the first regular season game. Let's see that. And I do think the Lakers want to see that as well. Let's see how it starts, things like that. If Russ continues to buy in, continues to operate that way. But if he doesn't, the Lakers need to have Russ on a very short leash. As much as I love Russ and I do think he could work, the reality is that if he's not, or if he's, just being the way he was yesterday, then you gotta let him go. And Russ had some nice moments last night. He was bad just like everyone else, but there were some good takeaways that you could take and go, okay, you could build on these things. There's always positives in all situations, but him not going to the huddle, that's not a positive. There is no positive really in that situation. There's not. So that's a big cause for concern. And look, the Lakers, they have the Pacers deal on the table, and I do believe the Lakers, if they can, need to be as patient as possible, because this whole Victor Wembanyama thing is going to be huge for the Lakers, and not just the Lakers, many teams many of these, top teams or mid-tier teams are going to be able to siphon a lot of quality players because you're going to have a lot of these teams tanking for the bottom. And, it's going to be a race for Victor, and you're going to have teams that are willing to sell the farm to do that. And you're going to get, fleece level deals that you probably wouldn't get otherwise. And the Lakers have an opportunity to be a part of that if Russ can kind of stay in line. But the problem is you can't risk your entire season on that. I'm not saying that the Lakers need to trade Russ immediately, like right now, like call the Pacers, call the Hornets, get a deal done. I'm not saying that. I don't think they need to yet. I don't think they need to panic yet. But this starts becoming a pattern, and this becomes like even just like a bi-weekly occurrence. I think they're going to have to end up moving on. And I hope they don't have to. I hope that the Lakers don't have to rush a Russell Westbrook deal, because I really believe, even at worst, the Pacers. I think the Pacers will come down on their asking price at some point, just because they're going to get closer to the end of the season. They're going to lose Miles Turner for nothing. And I think a lot of these other teams, like the Spurs, teams that are purposely trying to tank, even like maybe like the Magic, guys like that. Again, Charlotte. A lot of these teams are going to be having fire sales for a lot of their really good quality players. And the Lakers may be able to get several of those for Russell Westbrook just because of Russ's salary. You could probably get, 3-4, guys and kind of work some ins and outs and whatever you need to do. But the Lakers really might be able to really turn this team around and really upgrade and improve this team at some point during the season. And even if none of that does happen, you still don't want Russ behaving the way that he did last night. You don't want to see that. That is not good. You need to see Russ continue to be the guy we saw the previous 4 games, where, he was setting screens, he was playing in control, he was, going in closeouts, he was fighting over screens, he was letting the game come to him, he was taking good shots for the most part, he wasn't too careless with the basketball. Like, all of those things are really good and were really positive, and he seemed to fully be bought in. And last night, like I said, he did have some nice moments. Like, there was even a closeout where he was like on the other side of the court and sprinted across the court to do a closeout early on in the game, and the guy missed the shot. And I was like, there you go, Russ. I was like, that's what we need to see, those closeouts. But it was early, and he kind of didn't really do that again. He did have like 1 or 2 more closeouts after that, but not like to that level of just effort. And I was like, that's what we need to see. Good job, Russ. And then, Russ was bringing it up the court, and he had like a 3-on-1. And usually Russ just goes full throttle and tries to get a layup over those 3 guys. But instead, he was patient, pulled it out, let the offense catch up. And I was like, that's what we need to see, those things. And for the most part, we have seen him have some real just moments of like, okay, like this dude's trying to change. Is he a fully renewed player? Absolutely not. But it's going to take time. It's been 2 weeks. Everything takes time. He has things that he could build on and grow on. But I don't care if he becomes the perfect player for the Lakers. If his attitude and behavior continues to be that way, they got to ship him out. They do. And I would love to see Russ be good on this team. I would love to see Russ actually be able to commit to this team and give 100% and just really and just help this team win. But just based on what we saw yesterday, that is not good. That was not a good look. And, I don't need the Lakers to have a fire sale. I don't need that. I don't need the Lakers to say, okay, it's time to sell the farm. Nothing like that. But I definitely need the Lakers to just keep an eye on that and kind of maybe explore some trades and just kind of keep your feelers out there. But overall, Russ, look, if we're being honest, it's going to go 1 of 2 ways. Either it's going to fit and he's going to be great and it's going to work, or he's not and it's going to be terrible and we're going to have to, hit the panic button and sell the farm. Good thing is that there's still deals out there, like the Pacers deal, I don't see really going anywhere. So that's good. And a lot of teams in general, especially the Pacers. You don't think the Pacers are waiting to see if the Lakers just implode in the first handful of games? Of course they are. Because if that happens, then the Pacers know that they're going to get their asking price and they might get a little more. Instead of 2 first-round picks, it's 2 firsts and 2 seconds or something like that. Because the Pacers are just waiting and hoping that the Lakers start and play terrible. But, to be fair, Buddy Hield and Miles Turner haven't played very great at all. They've looked terrible in preseason. But still, I do think a new environment, new change, things like that really does have an impact. So, but I do think that there's still a lot of concern. I don't think the Lakers should do the Pacers deal still, as long as it's 2 first-round picks, just because I don't think it's worth both first-round picks. But if we get in a position where Russ is just creating a cancer for the team, you got to cut it out, right? So that could be what ends up happening. But again, as always, this is a discussion, so I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you think, yes, they need to trade Russ, get rid of him now? Like, this is a sign that he hasn't changed? Do you think, no, it's just a bad game, it's a bad moment, let's not blow it out of proportion? However you feel, good, bad, ugly, somewhere in between. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below.